Blake's Buzz Live. Hate less, read comics. It's Blake's Buzz Live.
Buzz, buzz, babies.
Hey, buzz, babies. Happy new comic book day. I've been gone for a few weeks. I missed you. You're about to meet the reason why I've been gone for a few weeks. You can get mad at him. I'm kidding. Sort of kidding. Anyway, I've been busy. Lots of Kickstarters. I'm puppeteering. Lots of Kickstarter. Things get crazy, but I couldn't stay away. I love y'all too damn much. So I'm back, and we're gonna talk comics and crowdfunding and cheeseburgers. I think I did promise some cheeseburger talk tonight. I was going to cook a cheeseburger and eat it live, but we didn't get there. And I apologize. I didn't put all the effort in that I should have. But before we get to our amazing guest, just a real couple quick ad reads before we get things started, because tonight's show is sponsored by Mr. Michael Gecko Adams, who has a new series, Hero Hiro, out from Keenspot. The second issue is coming out in November. You can pre-order it from the Keenspot shop or tell your shop you'd like a copy. I believe you can still get the first issue as well. Links for that are in the show notes. You can find it. It's a fun comic. It's hilarious, wonderfully illustrated. And then also you should head over to geckoadams.com, sign up for his free mailing list, because he's putting the goods out there, and I love his art. He's amazing. So yeah, that's that. And we were supposed to show this and we didn't, but that's okay. We're rusty because we've been gone for a little bit. All right, so before we kick things off tonight, I've got to shout out Ruination, a brutal character-driven fantasy epic full of political intrigue, betrayal, and jaw-dropping art. If you love morally gray heroes, worlds on the brink of collapse, and the kind of storytelling that keeps you flipping pages at 3 a.m., Ruination is the book for you. The new campaign is live on Kickstarter right now. Don't miss your chance to grab it. Also, links are in the description, and a very competitively priced digital catch-up, $30, 11 issues, pretty sweet deal. Last but not least, comics don't get more wild than Crossover Division, where fiction bleeds into reality and our heroes are forced to battle literary legends come to life. This time, they pissed off Cthulhu. Yeah, Cthulhu, tentacles and all. If you're ready for cosmic horror, clever storytelling, and a series that keeps raising the bar, get over to Kickstarter and back Crossover Division before the old gods swallow us all. My goodness, what an intense description. All right, I guess let's bring out some people, right? Okay. Our first guest, where's he at? Let's cue him up here. Our first guest is a comics retail mastermind who had a good idea to start a comic book marketing and consulting service to help awesome books find awesome homes in the direct market. He is the mind behind Prana Direct Market Solutions, Mr. Adam Freeman, baby! He's also my boss!
Wow.
Keep him going.
Oh my God. Wow. I every time I've watched this show, I always come in like in the middle. I don't think I've ever seen that though. Those ad reads are spectacular.
The start of the show is way better than the end of it.
I usually come in when you guys are like so punchy that everybody's maybe a little drunk and that like they're talking about stuff they probably shouldn't be in public. That's my favorite part about this show.
Yeah, well,
wow.
Yeah, we definitely get weird. We definitely get weird. But yeah, you're welcome. Glad to have you on the show. You've been here before. We got into a heated debate about barbecue. But
I don't know if it was a debate so much as it was an education for you. But I feel. I mean, I obviously, there's some knowledge about that. But I'm excited to talk about burgers. I'm a little more open as far as, when you talk about burgers. I'm ready to go. Cheeseburgers, especially. I think there's definitely some tips. We can talk.
Oh, yeah.
I have some thoughts. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll have to get the rest of the crew in before we bring them back. Thank you so much, Mary. I'm happy to have you back in the comments. Always a pleasure. Mary works with Attic Door Media, another cool indie comic press y'all should check out. In the meantime, we've got more guests to bring out. Our next one is hold on, gotta get him queued up. All right, our next guest is an extraordinary editor who's been at it for decades in both games and comics. He's also won an Eisner, and he keeps a tight ship over at Record Comics. The future is. Let's get him out here, Mr. Joe Keatinge. What's up, sir?
Hey, man. It's good to see you. Good to be here.
I'm not used to this intensity from Blake, but I am here for it.
It's not like our Tuesday meetings.
Different Blake.
It's a different Blake.
Yeah. Yo, we deal with Blake. I talk to Blake probably 3 to 5, many times feels like every other minute in a day. And this is not the Blake that we deal with. This is a
it's usually like, hey man, it's pretty cool. Let's go doing this.
I was thinking maybe we could, but whatever,
sure. I'm here for it.
I'll start yelling. I'll start yelling.
I'm ready for some of this, some of this live stream Blake energy during a meeting. Let's go.
Oh, God damn it. See, every time I get around you, I do too good a job, and I have to work harder later. It's just like SDCC.
Coming at you.
All right, one more guest, folks, and finally, it's this. Did he just leave? And finally,
like, too much. I'm out.
Like, I'm done. This New York Times best-selling author has been on the show a few times already. You may know him from some epic titles from Marvel, Valiant, Dynamite, and he's also the writer on The Future Is. Let's get him out, Fred Van Lente! Yes.
Got to do the Arsenio Hall.
Hey, Fred.
Fist bump. Hey, Joe. Hey, Adam.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Blake. You shrinking violet. You. How can we get Blake out of his shell more? We all, the three of us, have to put our heads together and kind of.
Sure.
I'm a mystery. A tight-lipped mystery is this guy right here. What? There's no chat on YouTube.
I'm doing the rest of the show as like a work day, Blake. Okay, so yeah.
So if Megan could help me get that report ready, you guys
should just give me that login. I'll see what I can do. I mean, I don't know, man. That's real tight. I'll do my best to try and get that by the end of the day. But
Blake clearly kicks in approximately 8:45 Eastern time.
Yeah, I got editing to do after this, so we
right. You do.
Gotta keep that energy up.
Go.
It's that green tea. It's that green tea extract. I love it. $18 a bottle on Amazon. It's steal. I break them up and snort them. They say you're not supposed to do that, but I feel great. No, I don't do that. I don't do that anymore. It's a joke. It's a joke. Okay, we joke on this show.
He takes them regularly.
Look at this. We got some one of the greatest Marvel Hercules writers ever. Apparently we're having YouTube chat troubles because no matter what I stream on, it doesn't want to work. Whether it's StreamYard, Riverside, I've pissed off the gods, guys. I don't know, but we are live. We are streaming, so that's good. What are we here to talk about? I joked that we were here to talk about cheeseburgers, and I'm excited to pick your minds and bellies about cheeseburgers later. Not gonna lie, but we're all.
I believe Fred. You know what? I believe both these gentlemen know something about a cheeseburger, about putting one on a grill. I believe they both have. This is a well practiced. Culinary crew right here, my friend.
Nice.
I used to literally sling cheeseburgers at the amusement park near my house as a summer job.
There you go.
I have professional cheeseburger experience.
Wow.
1993.
I have a chef in the house, a culinary master. Right before Adam hired me, I almost went and worked at Pizza Tasio. It's a big pop-in pizza place in Kansas City, and Jason Aaron told me about it when I interviewed him at Comic-Con a while back, and I started going there, and it's phenomenal, and Kansas City loves it. And so anyway, yeah, they were like, hey, anybody ever want to make pizza before? I was like, shit, is this like a sign? Like, but then like right after that, Adam was like, you want to come work for me? I was like, oh, I'm glad I didn't go make pizzas. So things
Adam was like, I can't lose this to the pizza industry. Grab that.
Comics needs to hang on to this guy before we lose him to
he saved comics. Would have been a whole different show. I would have been. Well, I could have done like the Prana and just like tried to make a communal pizza shop community in Kansas City.
You would have become a pizza consultant.
Yeah. Be like the pizza czar of South KC. Anyway, What could have been? Who knows, right? Wild times. Yeah, okay, weird question to spin off. Like a lot of a lot of us are. I am like you're kind of chasing dreams, working in this industry, right? It was like a thing as a little kid, and I think about it sometimes, and I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm here. What was if comics didn't happen? What would have been something that you guys would have ran into or chased career wise?
Boy. I'm
Heroin?
gonna pass. Come back to me because I'm having a hard time remembering a time before comics.
What did you say, Fred?
I said heroin. Maybe kidding, but yeah, like Adam, I got sucked in when I was in college, so it was pretty early.
Yeah,
I technically had gone to school for filmmaking, but it turned out I hated it, so which really kind of surprised me.
Wow.
I didn't like, and I might have stuck with it if I A, owned a car, or B, like if I'd shown up like 3 or 4 years later when digital technology was in, but back in, Yielden times, you needed film, you needed a big black bag to change the magazines in, you had to go send it. It was stupidly expensive because you not only buy the film, you had to send it out to be developed, when that was, being in college is expensive enough. But I ended up hanging out with the guys in my comic book club, and we all moved. A bunch of us moved out to New York to break into the comic book industry. But I guess I might have wound up. A bunch of my friends who I knew from college wound up in Hollywood. I might have ended up in Hollywood.
Hollywood Fred. It's got a ring to it.
I can see that.
We can make it happen.
And then heroin. Probably.
What about you, Joe?
Guessing.
There's a version where I probably would have actually gone into the tech, and I was really tech savvy when I was like me through like Windows XP. It's very good, and I kind of like petered off. But honestly, dude, comics has been there since I was a kid. Like nobody. I think I told you this. We're talking the other day. Like no one in my family knows where they came from. They were just always around. And my first job, I mean, I pursued comics very methodically, like I was the Terminator. You know what I mean? Like I was dead set on like, I'm gonna figure this out. I took any job I could get. I started color flatting and I worked my way to where I'm at. You know what I mean? So it's just like there wasn't a lot of, and like truth of the matter is, it's something I like about the tech end of things is the creative problem solving, which frankly was rooted in comics, like liking comics. So I don't. There's just no other. There's no Earth 2 for me. This is it.
I love this. I love that there's like like this was the dream. This was the only way. No pressure, Adam. Like, is that anything you thought?
Well, it's funny is around 2008, 2009, between 2008 and 2010, my life was kind of falling apart. We won the Eisner for our comic shop in 2008, and the economy crashed like almost immediately. So we got home, and inside of like, I don't know, a month, our revenue dropped by 20% in a quarter and just didn't come back up. It was harsh. And I started looking around for work. First I was trying to find some work in publishing, and I kept doing that, but it's and I did get a job working for Top Cow, and because the sales were so bad during that period, eventually they, laid a bunch of us off. And so I was without a job again, and I couldn't get work. I couldn't get work outside of comics, right, at the time. I think now it'd probably be a lot easier for me. I think I understand a lot of things a lot better, and I could probably, I don't know, I feel pretty confident that the kind of work we're doing, we could do in a lot of different industries. But I will say that if I look back on the things I was passionate about, I thought I was going to go into film when I first moved to LA, and I ended up working in a comic shop instead. I spent a little time as a columnist in like the local LA Times. And so I thought maybe I could do something like that in journalism. But when I look back on what I loved, the careers that I've had, I loved to cook. Like I was a line cook, and I swear to God that's for my ADHD brain, that was as close as I've ever had to like being able to focus on something for a full shift. And there's nothing else, like nothing else can invade that. Like you have to keep all those tickets in your head and you have to keep moving. And then now, granted, I probably would be dead by now if I had decided to go that route, because anybody who's worked in the service industry knows that it's just,
hard.
It's hard.
It's hard.
Hard.
Kitchen work is crazy. And then now with like you watch The Bear, but it's very real. Yeah. Like those tickets, those to go order online orders. Oh, dude. I remember working at a bar when they brought in we had 2 tablets, like for 2 different Uber Eats and Postmates.
Yeah.
And it was just like, you'd hear that ding and the bar would be 3 deep and like waitresses are screaming for ice and the cooks are already mad. And it's like 1:30 in the morning. The kitchen's open till 2. These orders are still, oh yeah. No, I'm glad I don't do that anymore. Actually.
Honestly, me too. I mean, now I'm happy to just cook for my family and friends, and but I will say that it was as close as my brain has ever gotten to something that just completely enveloped it. And I think that says something about it.
No, it's there. It's crazy work. And it's how like scheduled you throw, it's all like timed, and it's like when you have like the right crew back there, it's such like a well-oiled machine. It's kind of like a magic thing to watch. It's, I've seen it, not to like toot our own horn, but to toot our own horn. I've seen it in some of the work we've done at Prana, like when we run into hiccups, right, too, but when all the gears are moving and the engine's purring and things are good and the Kickstarters are hitting 6 figures or whatever they're, whatever, or 5 figures even, but like it's crazy what a handful of people can do. Like Joe I said this to him the other day. He continually like impresses me, like with just all the stuff he keeps in order for Rekka and the future is, and how ahead of production it is, and how all that's like scheduled and organized. It freaks me out. And I wish I could do, like, if I was, oh man, you guys would fire me so fast if I had to do that. I could be like, I would learn, right? But it would be it's impressive, Joe, for like all the stuff you keep. I can't imagine the like whiteboard system or whatever you have like on the other side of the camera, or like,
it's there, I mean, use also a couple of things, but like I said, my favorite thing, and which would be applicable to other jobs should I pursue them, and I worked in video games for a minute too, which I think Fred might as well. Like it kind of goes back and forth, but it again is the creative problem solving, and it's like my favorite thing in the world is like with the future is it's like we're doing a 6-issue series monthly in comic book shops. It has these parameters, and then there's other things that are more important, talking about like budgetary things, but it's like how do you solve this puzzle? And I love that. Like that to me, that's the best thing in the world, and so it's like I don't know, I'm not going to get too in the weeds on this, although I could, but it's like the way we have it set up is it's done such in a way that it's like for efficiency and like how do we tell the coolest story possible, right? So anyway,
well, and I will say that I think getting back to that ability to hold several things in your head, hold that many tickets in your head, right? I think that's a lot. I mean, to do the kind of work that we do in comics, you really have to do that. Yeah. I know, Joe, you have multiple things going, because I know I'm working with you on 3 of them. Blake, I think, what are we at? We're at like 6 current clients right this second that we're working with, not to mention the podcast and the live show and the newsletter and all the other stuff, the conventions that we're doing. Like we have to keep that in our head. I just had lunch with Fred earlier today. We were talking about it. Are you what 5 books you're working on right now?
Wow.
5 I could tell you about.
and that's not even counting the fact that he keeps 2 of our artists fed, busy, which means that he is writing scripts in 2 different parts of the narrative at any given time.
Wow.
More. And that's the minimum, because we've also done the standalone issues, which have other artists at other periods of time.
Right. That's right. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that I think there's a reason that we end up here is that we're the ones that survived.
Yeah.
Right? We're the ones with the brains that need this. Like we can't just focus in on one thing and then go home. We need to be able to do all of these things and then still show up for Blake at 9:00 at night.
Well, you told me the other day when we were in one of our every other 3-minute chats, but you were like, I was talking and you were like, well, dude, you were like, dude, not everyone can work like this. And it's true. Like, cause I talked to Joe a little bit about this too. Like my mom knows I work, but doesn't really understand how comics make money. Right. Cause she's like, they're a cartoon, right? I don't get it. And it's just, it's like, they don't realize how, I think a lot of people outside of the industry don't realize how hard and intense deadline driven careers are, right? Because things sneak up on you, things change, and it's very fulfilling, but it's very fast paced and very not like when I got my first comics. Like when I came in green and innocent, and someone hired me to do their social media work, and all the shit I've seen. It's not that bad, but it is fast paced. Fred, I want to one of those projects. I don't know if you can say it or not. Is it pro? Any of them pros?
I'm working on a new novel, but like I have so much comics work, I have had to set it aside. So I'm at 30,000 words in.
Okay, I mentioned last time we talked. I really liked his Bloodshot novel he did for Valiant, and it was so cool. And yeah, it's interesting when you like stumble on a creator in a new way. Right. Like they're like an artist that tries something new or a writer that tries something new or a whole different medium, like from comics to prose. It was cool. Like getting like way more Fred. Like it was like so much Fred, all Fred, just like
possibly still.
It's cool.
Yeah. It's great. I started out as a kid wanting to be a novelist, partly because I lived in Ohio and I thought, I didn't understand. I would have loved to have done comics, but it seemed like you did live in New York City to do that, and just seemed like such a far away place. But so it's cool that comics has given me the opportunity to fulfill that dream too.
Nice. Joe, I know you do a little bit of writing. Like, are you more like, do you like being like behind the scenes, like doing like helping put the puzzle together, as opposed to like, I mean, I know editors are creative. I don't want to like be offensive or anything, but like, do you have like creator driven projects that you're working on and I mean, you obviously can't talk about it probably, but like, stuff you're working on, like just like for you in between all the gigs.
Yeah. I mean, yes, is the short answer. The slightly longer answer, but it's not the full answer, is like, I love this. I've worked on almost all ends you can possibly work in. And if not, I've worked directly with that person. Like, I love this whole system of comics. And like right now, I am more sort of editorially focused. It's what's got me stoked. I do have a couple of things that I am writing, but I just love, like I said, I started off color flatting. I just wanted any way into this thing, and I worked at a publisher for 6 years, and I worked in distribution, and I worked in printing, and I worked in sales, and I worked in foreign licensing. Like, I love this whole thing, And like, the thing for me is, if you can give me a creative problem solving, that's my thing. That's my mantra. That's the core of my thing. As long as I'm doing that, I'm good. And comics is the medium that I most like doing that in. When is this airing? This is live, right? So I can't talk about a certain thing. Okay. Yeah. I'm doing something else.
No, talk about it.
Different. That requires writing in a different
come capacity. Back on. There's a big announcement we're going to have on Tuesday, and once that goes live, we're gonna have to come back on and talk about it.
I'm doing multiple podcasts, and they take place at different periods of time. Like,
of
which,
my
head, so I'm like, where in the timeline? It's like a Doctor Who episode. I'm like, trying to keep an eye, like, where am I in the timeline?
That's cool. Yes. I mean, it's a big announcement. It's really exciting, and anytime you get to do stuff like that, like at a big con, like at New York and Baltimore, and Prana's gonna have a presence at both, which is pretty exciting. I work there. I'm kind of biased.
I'll tell you this.
I've never worked at a job that had a booth at a big con before. Like, that's dope. That's like rad. Like, that's cool.
Yeah. I like to create and facilitate good work. So if that is in the form of editing this particular book, that's awesome. You know what I mean? And like the things like get me jazzed. So Fred's really masterful at like, here's a crazy brief. We have to we had issue 13 is the one I'm thinking in particular. Like, we have all these parameters you have to meet. And my favorite thing right now that I get to do is work with Fred and see what he does with that. You know what I mean? Again, and I love the alchemy of comic book creation, So anyway, yes is the short answer. That's the longer answer.
We like the long answers here, baby. It's all good. You can rant, rave, talk about secret projects, all you want. No one's gonna get mad at you.
Well, and there's quite a bit of writing that Joe is doing for the secret project.
Yeah,
that way, right?
I assumed a lot of what I read came from him.
Yeah,
I know it's dangerous to assume, but there's only a handful of people who technically could have done it.
Yeah. Well, I will say we just in this collaboration, we did collaborate. I think most creatively that we have done into something that's not like the future is. And it was incredibly fulfilling. I don't know. I can speak for Joe, but man, I had a good time putting that thing together.
I I've done a little bit of prose work, but I really, again, I love that alchemy of comics, and with this particular initiative in which we're embarking upon, there was one piece in particular we essentially co-wrote, like not essentially, like we totally co-wrote. And it was cool to see like my take, Adam's take, and then what it became.
Yeah.
And like, that's my favorite. I love that in comics. You know what I mean? It's like, working with this writer in New York and seeing what he writes and then seeing what these artists in Italy do. And then like, they've got a letter. I don't know where Taylor lives, but like, somewhere else in America. And you see like all these things come together. And then we got a J League. I'm talking about the future is, and you got like a J League cover, and you got a Michael Allred and Laura Allred cover, and just like how it all forms into one cohesive thing. I think it's really cool.
And I will say, I think that even outside the creative part of it, that's not the word I want. Outside of the product, right? Outside of the product of comics, it is also when it's good. I mean, part of the reason that Prana is so many different people is because I need a team. Like I need to have that sort of like jam on a problem mentality of where everybody comes with ideas and the result is so much more than the sum of its parts. And where, somebody says, "Oh, who came up? That was such a good idea. Who came up with it?" And you go, honestly, I don't know. We all got into a room and we knew we had a problem to fix. And so we all jammed on it until the problem was fixed. And I don't know. I don't know where the answer came from, but man, was that fun.
We have a very, very great group of people for that. Like when we, like I made a joke about like all the meetings that comics is earlier in a meeting for comics, but and it is a lot of meetings, but it's cool when you start like you can tell everybody's excited, everybody's into it, even if you're stressed and a little behind and you're rushed and then the ideas start coming out and a few of them are rough, right? A few of them are rough, and you laugh and shrug them off, and you keep going and bouncing them, and it turns into something real. It turns into something like concrete, like a little golden nugget that maybe you can, it's a cool feeling, and it's very rewarding to be at a place where that happens like a lot, like like it happens like weekly usually or more, and we keep mentioning this, the future is, or TFI, and talking about how great it is, but no one's actually pitched it yet. And I am notorious for going like 30 minutes before I talk about the book and here we are 28 minutes in. But Fred, as the writer, I've heard Joe pitch this thing like 20 million times last week, dude. I love you, Joe, but I've recorded you. I've edited you. I've cut you.
I want to hear Fred.
Fred, pitch this series for all our listeners, please.
Yeah, sure. It's a very exciting. It's Cyberpunk Mission Impossible series. It's about a very near future where you don't have rights anymore, but terms of service. The hacker wars are over and the Black Hats won, and we follow those individuals on that cover that Adam is holding up, and on most of the covers that these other two people are holding up, running around trying to save people from technological nightmares. Retailer called it Black Mirror, but hopeful, which I like.
Oh, I like that.
Sticking with that one. But it's just a real kick-ass. It's a kick-ass science fiction adventure series with some fantastic characters as the leads. So I'd also, if anyone's seen Leverage, the TV show Leverage, is kind of like that.
Oh.
And you've got people pulling tricks and fast ones on bad people.
Every episode's a heist, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so every arc of ours is a heist, although they do start playing defense, which is something they do a lot in the InfoSec community, which is cool that we're able to show that aspect of it also. So it's got gorgeous art from Ennio Buffi and Mario D'Alessandro, and with some other exciting guest artists coming up. and great people on the covers, which is just
Such
fantastic.
great people
Largely
on the
thanks to
covers.
Joe.
Yeah.
I dare a viewer or a enemy or a friend to find a series with a better cover artist lineup. Are they out there? I don't know that they're out there. I feel like it'd be hard to find.
Well, especially paced out like we're doing. Somebody I'm sure like Dynamite does 24 covers per issue. So yeah. There you go. Cyberpunk Ocean's 11.
That is a good description, Joe. Thank you.
There you
Shout
go.
out to hotshot artist Joe Mulvey, who should come back on the show sometime. I miss you, Joe. He's good people, that guy. It's such beautiful work. Joe has bragged several times. He says Recca. It's like the Recca finds, but these artists they've found from Italy and I think we send them gifts and stuff. We do a lot. They take good care of these guys because the art they are sending in. I've got to see covers that no one's got to see yet. It's like they get better and better, and they started damn good. It started real good.
Oh yeah.
And we were talking about this the other day, but there are moments in my career I started working at Image in 2004. I was working at the publisher 2004, 2010, and so I saw a lot of guys come in who are just like huge names. Not even just with Image. Like I remember Becky Cloonan was doing like mini comics, and then it was just like this person's gonna be huge, and now she's Becky Cloonan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then or I think of like Ryan Otley. He was doing his Ted Noodleman comic, and they're like, "Oh, he's gonna take over Invincible," and you're like, "All right," and you see it, and you're like, "Dang, this guy's gonna be a beast," And that's how I feel about Ennio and Mario. I'm just like, these guys are gonna be like. I mean, they already are awesome. Like the hamburger cover come up. Are we talking about that? Are you showing that? Has that been?
Yeah, that was the thumbnail.
I mean, that came in. I was like, this is one of the best covers I've ever seen. And to your point, part of the strategy with the book is every single cover is a total banger by a different artist, and it kind of at a certain point just makes your book undeniable, right? Because instead of having 20 covers, which is a fine strategy for the right book, but for us, it's just like here's a cover, and it's Jay Lee and June Chung, and then it's like Mike Huddleston, and then it's Jim Mahfood, and then it's Rob Guillory, and then it's Nick Patera, and then it's Mike Allred, then it's eventually it's Paul Pope, and I don't think it's announced, but we got Will Spertasio doing a cover, and it's just like at a certain point, like, all right, fine, I'll check out the book.
Yeah. Eventually, right? You got to be like, okay, what's this? What
issue 27? I'll try it.
Yeah. No, that's it. Everyone's gonna be awesome, So.
And if you do pick it up late, I guarantee you there's going to be trades you can buy because this team's really good about different editions of trades and coming back on like fancy hardcovers they do on Kickstarter that some comic shops have for sale. We've seen shelves of these at retailers that they've sent in too. So
yeah,
you can snag the trades if you come in late, but it's early. This is volume 2. You can still get volume 1. And you can get it digitally or physically, but this campaign is a little special for another different reason. And Adam, I have heard you pitch this a lot and edited you a lot pitching it, but you're real good at it. So I feel like,
am I?
We gotta let the chief talk, and here it is.
We don't really have to, do we? We're talking about the Kickstarter. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah,
now?
the Kickstarter.
All right, let's do it. So we're currently live. We've got about how many hours do we have left, Blake? You keep I think you have a countdown clock somewhere on your desk. There we go.
41 hours left.
41 hours remaining. Look at that. We have a Kickstarter currently up on we have a Kickstarter up on Kickstarter for volume 2 of the hardcover. I think Blake showed it eventually earlier, but here's my copy, the volume 1 that we put out. This ended up being issue 1 in the comic shops. Volume 2 is going to be issues 2 through 7, which is a series of origin stories that we've been telling inside the comic shops. We're going to gather them together along with some other really cool stuff. And so we're doing the Kickstarter this time around. We're doing it some little bit special way, which is that so much of what we do with the future is through Rekka Comics is not only about like promoting cybersecurity in that community, but also promoting the magic of comic shops. These incredible places that we all go to. Many of us go on a weekly basis, and we all have our favorite that we show up at. And it's like this third place in our lives that makes life a little easier, knowing that you get to go to the comic shop once a week, every Wednesday. I hope you guys all went earlier today. Anyway, so these places are special. They deserve our support, and they've been incredibly supportive of this project. And so we wanted to give a little bit of that support back. And to do that, if you back this program at $25 or above, we are going to give you a $25 gift certificate at your local comic shop. How does that work, Adam? Oh, that's a really great question. When this campaign is over, in 49 hours or whatever it is, when this campaign has finally come to an end, and we get the money in from the backers in order to make these hardcovers and all the other products that we're building here happen. We got to put in the new covers on these things as they get revealed. We got to remember to do that, Blake. When that money comes in, we're then going to, in your survey, we're going to ask you who was your favorite local comic shop. We're going to contact them and say, hey, we got $25. We want to give it to this particular backer so they can spend it in your store on anything. Now, do we think that you should go in and buy TFI? Absolutely, we think you should go in and buy The Future Is. But you can also spend it on anything else in your local comic shop. If you don't have a local comic shop, we have an arrangement with a large online store that has lots and lots of different product, and they've already agreed that we can give you a gift certificate to that. So it's our way of kind of taking what is normally the Kickstarter model, which is about, going direct to consumer. It's our way of including the comic shops in that conversation, because they've been so supportive of us. We want to use this opportunity to be as supportive of them as we can be. How'd I do, Buzzy?
Did great.
All right, great.
Very good.
Not too much editing out of that one?
No, well, it's live. We can't edit anything.
All right, good point. That's a good.
This is why my show's live, because I'm lazy.
Yeah.
No, it's so cool. I remember Adam telling me about the campaign, and I was like so confused. At first, I didn't realize the tiers stacked, and so he's pitching, but I'm like, dude, they're gonna buy the hardcover, right? And he goes, well, no, because I wasn't used to campaigns where like tier 1 and then tier 2 you get tier 1, tier 3 you get 2 and 1, right? And so I'm like, Adam's like, how do you not understand this is like for comic shops? And I'm like, I don't get it, dude. And he was like, no, you get everything the more you, and I was like, oh, so it was, anyway, I'm the Kickstarter manager. Welcome aboard.
Yeah.
So
So glad
we figured it out. We figured it out. This was way before the campaign page and the graphics, but
fine.
it was, but once they once I wrapped my mind around it, because also it was hard to wrap your mind around, like, give 25, get back 25, right? Because it's that's a big crazy thing. It's really cool. And editing your show, I've learned a lot about the retail side and heard a lot from retailers. And it was, what was it? Lee, I can't remember Lee's last name. Neighborhood Comics Lee.
Lee Heidel.
I know.
Yeah.
He was saying like he gets kind of bummed when he like sees a cool Kickstarter page and it doesn't have a retailer tier, because he was like, that just makes me feel like you don't want to be in a shop, right? And it's crazy because so many Kickstarter people are like, I'm gonna pass on it because like no shop's gonna buy this, right? It is like, if you don't buy it, you don't have to ship it. It takes 20 extra minutes to write the copy and make a graphic and put it up there, right? But I never really thought until then that like, oh, retailers wanted to maybe be involved in some of this. We got some feedback like that with Jusco. We're getting feedback like this again with The Future Is. It's very intriguing. And Joe, you said something smart like this. They're not competing against each other, right? It's silly to think of the
No,
direct
that was
market
one
and
thing I learned in
crowdfunding.
publishing. People are like, this is the one way to sell comics and it's perfect. And I was like, no, dude, hit every lever you can. Hit every single button in the elevator. People were like, digital is the future. And I was like, okay, I think it's part of the future, right? I think you do single issues that you collect as trade paperbacks, that you eventually do as hardcovers, you eventually do as compendiums, and then you release those digitally, and you can release those on multiple platforms. You can have it on Hoopla, you can have it in libraries, you can have it in this. I was like, why would you limit yourself? And then have it in crowdfunding and to do like, release it for free online and then do a Patreon subscription. Like, there's many ways to
put it everywhere.
It's not like it's real easy making comics, making money in comics. You kind of have to, pull it together. Yeah. Right. In the same way that, Joe and Fred and I and you, Blake, like we all serve multiple masters in order to do this for a living. The same thing for publishing. You really have to like make sure that you can't be everything to everybody, but you kind of have to be everywhere all at once. You really do.
And speaking on being everywhere all at once, this is a terrible segue, but I know Joe's got to get out of here in a second. And I want to hear about Joe's cheeseburger.
I got about 12 minutes.
12 minutes? All right.
Yeah.
Is that enough time?
I don't know what the question is. You're asking me about cheeseburgers?
Yeah. I didn't know you could. I didn't know you cooked. Adam let slip earlier that you knew a thing or two about cooking. But
I'm a dad and I have a barbecue. So
okay.
All right, I might have oversold.
I'm a son and I have a barbecue. But all right, I mean that's fair. What is it? What is a good cheeseburger? Or are you let's start slow. Are you a cheeseburger or a hamburger guy?
Cheeseburger.
Right.
Like I said, I do enjoy game meat. I mean, I love good grass-fed beef, but I also really enjoy elk and venison and bison. So.
Nice. My buddy and his wife hunt all the time, so we get so much venison like throughout the year, and crappie because they all fish and stuff too. So it's not. I don't know if I could like pull the trigger on an animal because I'm soft, squishy little snowflake guy. But I was just like, I mean, I think if I had to, I could do it. But like, I don't know. Like my sister
maybe one day threatening your family.
Okay, if it was threatening my, I guess. But like if it was like a wild boar and I like, but like, yeah, anyways, I like eating it, but I don't know if I could shoot it or not.
I think I think we have it in us to do so. I grew up in a time and place where hunting was just part of our lives. Has not been a part of my life for a long time, but I know that, just from having done that, having had that experience, that, there is no life without death, right? Even if you're a vegetarian, you're killing something.
Yeah.
So, you kind of get inoculated to that pretty quickly, right?
I let caterpillars eat all my parsley because I didn't want to knock the caterpillars out of my herb garden. Yeah. So I'm weird. I'm weird.
Butterflies that are about to get there. Yeah.
But I mean, we've talked about my diet. I love meat. I love red bloody, hurt me later meat. But anyway. So all right. So you're a cheeseburger guy. Are you like a thick patty or like a smashed patty or like a thinner deli patty? What kind of burger setup you into, Joe?
That's a very interesting question. I don't know. It really depends on the source. If I'm cooking at home, it's probably a big old patty, honestly. But I'm open to all kinds. I'm open to the great experiences life can give you. So, Huckleberry is really big out here, in like the Mountain West region where I live, and so like Huckleberry burgers, Huckleberry Swiss bacon burger.
Okay, sounds good. I'll be a Huckleberry. Oh, now I want to watch Tombstone, but I can't because I have to edit Adam's podcast after that. I could watch. I've never tried. I listen to comedy specials when I edit sometimes, but not often.
Yeah, Fred, what do you like in a burger?
Yeah, what do you like in a burger, Fred?
Cheeseburger, usually cheddar. Lamb burger is great with feta.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Pepper jack is also good on a burger. Don't like Swiss. It's just a personal thing. Always onions, with or without lettuce. Onions are enough crunch. People load up too much stuff with burgers. My hashtag hot take on burgers. I cannot stand the tomato slice, because like having worked in restaurants, like most tomatoes you get at restaurants have like decayed, like they're like the interior is, and I'm not a fan of the texture of raw tomato to begin with, but it's like it's just nasty, and it's just this slimy, slippery thing that's between your bun, and it's not crunchy. That's part of, I think it's trying to add some sweetness, but it's just, I think it's just a thing we do because everybody does it, and I'm also anti-pickle.
Not a big pickle guy either.
Oh no, I disagree. Hard disagree.
Wait, you live in New York. You gotta, they have pickles on everything. This is the most controversial thing that's come up in this podcast.
All right, let's talk a minute for the reason for the pickle, and arguably the reason for the tomato. There is no perfect dish without balance, right? Sure. If you have something really fatty like that lamb burger, especially, right? The reason you like the feta is because it's got a little bit of acid in it, right? So you need that acid in order to balance out the fat.
Right,
and
but you're not putting pickles on a lamb burger, or are you?
I'm not putting pickles on a lamb. I'm not.
Okay.
What am I? But I might. I would probably. I might keep those. Might keep the onions. Maybe put the cook them in maybe a little vinegary stuff or something like that. Right? I want something that gives a little bite to balance that out. Like I think you need you need fiber, right? You need a vegetable inside of there so that you can digest it like a human, right? And so there's that, and so your body also wants that crunch. That's why the body wants the crunch, is because you need the fiber. So, but we also want the balance because we, need to add acid for our bodies to process that sort of thing. So that's where the pickle comes in. You need the pickle. If you don't have a pick, like if you get a really great smash burger, like George Mott's has a place out here, and he used to live in my neighborhood in Brooklyn.
He taught me how to make burgers on YouTube. He taught me how to make burgers. I learned how to cook on YouTube. Like,
he was my neighbor. I didn't know he was my neighbor. I met him in LA at Complex Con. It was like did this like long line, and I just walked up to him and was watching what he was doing and asking questions, and we were just chatting. And then like legitimately 3 months later, I'm sitting in my front yard in Brooklyn, and he walks past. I'm like, "You're the burger guy." And it turns out he lived 2 blocks away. So his YouTube channel, I know exactly where his house is. So I can tell you where those windows are. Anyway, all this to say, George Mott, the way he does it, he does the onions, he puts them on the flat top. Like if he's doing the smash burger, right? That kind of classic. He puts the onions on the flat top, lets them cook down, lets the steam, right? It's about getting that steam onto the burger meat. Then you're flipping the burger and you're smashing it down, and then you put the onions on, and the cheese goes on last. But he serves it with pickles that you put on at the very end. He doesn't put the pickles on because he doesn't want to soak it in, but you put them on to the very end so that you get that little bit of crunch and that little bit of acid. Yes, I have opinions about this burger composition. 100%.
No, I use red onions for that.
I like red onions on a burger. I like making burger sauces, and I put pickle juice or relish in the burger sauce. I'm not a big pickle fan, but I like the pickle flavor. It's sort of a texture thing for me sometimes. I do love pickles on a spicy chicken sandwich, though. It's really weird.
That's an excellent point. Well, because actually, I was going to ask, and I'm actually very concerned about this. Fred, you live in New York. There's many of the greatest delis in the world are there. If you go to a deli, are you going to get like a half sour pickle? Like, or are you just anti-pickle altogether?
No, I'm not anti-pickle at all. I'm also very anal in that I like. To me, the pickle is just one too many ingredients. Like I will have a pickle on the side.
I respect it.
Sure,
absolutely. I respect it.
Yeah. I'll have a pickle on the plate. I mean, I probably my wife also loves it, so I think she prefers to have pickles on her thing. Also, no, to me, it's meat, it's cheese, it's lettuce, it's red onions, and then my favorite thing, if I'm not being too lazy, is I like mustard and ketchup and mayonnaise. All 3.
No ketchup for me.
Really?
No ketchup. No, it's just too sweet.
I like ketchup and mayonnaise. We have fry sauce out here. I don't know if you ever.
Yeah, that's the ketchup mayo thing. Yeah.
I'm more of a mayo and mustard guy. I think the mustard is really. If you guys are ever down south, go to a Whataburger. Very mustard forward kind of cheeseburger. Oh, it's delicious.
Yeah, I've been to Whataburger. It's great.
I do ketchup, mustard, mayo, pickle juice, salt, pepper, and usually like whatever seasoning I put on the burger, I put a little bit of that in the sauce. Like if I'm using I usually just use like a salt, pepper, garlic seasoning. But yeah, and then I mix all that together, and it's a pretty good burger sauce.
What pickle juice is fantastic for is potato salad.
Mm.
And particularly if you mix it with mustard, it's really great.
Interesting.
Well, lately my pickled brine has just become whatever else I'm pickling at the time. So, like Blake, I have a vegetable garden, and the green beans just came in strong. So right now I've got a jar full of pickle juice and green beans just sitting in the fridge, waiting to be ready.
Now you're making me think, Adam. What might be fun would be to pickle the red onions. What would that be?
Oh yeah,
they're good. They're really good. They're great for.
I've had pickled onions.
Okay.
Cheeseburger.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
really
it's very good.
great.
You know, there's a place I used to live in Oregon, called McMinimans, and there's a chain there, and they always put pickled red onions on a burger. Maybe not always, but most of the time, it is a great move.
It is a good move. It is a really good move. We have a jar of pickled red onions just for almost everything, just in the fridge, man. It's so good.
You know what's crazy? People have been begging me. They're like, when are you going to start just doing food content? Like, I love comics are cool, man, but like, now here it is, you motherfuckers. Tune in and listen. We're talking food. No one's here. Thanks a lot. I'm just kidding. I love everybody.
They can watch it later. As long as we're talking about onions, though, I will tell you so normally I just moved over the summer, and I'm in a new neighborhood. I'm trying to hit spots. And it's funny that we're talking about this tonight, because Wednesdays has been my go to the comic shop, talk to my comic shop guy, pick up the books I want that week. And then, because usually I'm alone on Wednesday nights, my family is in Brooklyn on Wednesday nights, I usually will go and try and hit a different burger spot. And I found one that I loved, and it's called Burgerology. It's a little chain, but they have this really great menu, and they have this one fantastic burger that has this red onion, and I think it's a Pinot Noir reduction. Like, they reduce the onions inside of the Pinot, and man, it gets all nice and jammy, and oh damn, it's good.
Wow.
Oh, it's real good. And that's what I'm not doing right now for you, Blake.
Oh, I appreciate it.
And so all three of you that are watching, if you don't go right now to Kickstarter and back this campaign, my sacrifice
will have been for
nothing.
Adam missed dinner for this. I'm gonna pay for this tomorrow. One way or another.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna be angry, and me and Megan are gonna get ran through it. No, I'm just kidding. I love working for Adam. It's been everybody knows my previous work experience. It's been a joy compared to the torture house I escaped from. Joe, before I worked for Adam, I had a holy shit, I work in comics job, and they figured out that I loved comics enough that they were just like, we'll make him do anything, and I was just like, I work in, then so anyway, I got Blake got taken advantage of a little bit, but as I've also said, I learned a ton of shit that is currently getting me a lot of work right now. So good things flowers can grow, or psilocybin mushrooms grow out of turds. That's a metaphor. That's
100%.
Joe's like, what the hell? I'm sorry, Joe.
You're okay.
I'm okay. I'm normal. I'm normal sometimes.
Okay.
You said you wanted podcast Blake. Now you got him. But yeah, it's
guys, I can really. Yeah, I like a burger. I like a hot dog more. I could really.
Could you guys if someone could approve this Google Doc for me to post?
Have
real quick?
I usually like 6 hot dogs.
I'm gonna be right back, guys. I'm gonna have a little 6-dog lunch. Be right back. Get those graphics taken care of for everybody. Get them uploaded to the Google Drive. It'll be great.
I like to work for the Muppets.
I mean, that's sort of
awesome. We have to do this for another 12 hours. Is that right?
Yeah. We're here for long. It's gonna be. We got to do it so that we can tell Kyle that
we're doing it.
He was exhausted for no reason.
41-hour episode.
Yeah.
like the Jerry Lewis telethon.
but Blake's buzz for the future is Kickstarter. That'd be cool if we had phones. Like if they didn't work. I still don't know how the EXP did it. Nice yawn. That was a good pick. I love I wish like I could know if my dogs would like a cat or not, because I always see like videos of like dogs and cats like being friends online and the cut. I'm like, man, that'd be so cool to like get up and like find my dogs and a cat like cuddled taking naps, but I don't. They when they see them in the window, they don't act like they want to cuddle them. So I don't know. I don't know how that would work. Bringing a cat in.
Really, they don't know how. They have no game. They don't know how to. They really want to cuddle a lot.
Yeah, that's definitely my dogs. My sister has cats. She literally was they were bringing in groceries, and this black cat that they named Gary just ran into their house and didn't leave, and they ended up like taking him to the vet, and he's been like a cool cat. But I love her cats. Like I go over there and hang out with them. Like I've always liked them. But I've never had one. The family's always had dogs. I don't know. What you guys dogs or cat guys or anything? Like geckos and snakes in the back room or something?
No, we've had a cat now for probably a decade, and she has not yet made the transition here to this house. She's staying with her aunt. But here we have a dog, and I feed this dog. You want to talk about the dog? The food this dog gets is really top notch, because she is very special to my father-in-law, and he was doing this multi-layered meal every day. And I said, well, why are you putting all this effort into something and feeding her such bullshit? And so I started making the dog food like a sucker. So
yeah.
That's a part of my day now.
Dude, we make dog food. Our dogs get brown rice, ground turkey, kidney beans, squash, carrots. So we do it in like the crock pot overnight, and they get like a half cup of that and a half cup of kibble. And then we make them fucking bone broth, like real bone broth. So like, yeah, my dogs eat people food basically, but you know, they're worth it. They make my life a lot better, and they don't ever, you know, it's not like they get to go on vacations. They got to put up with my bullshit all day. I guess I could do is make them a couple meals a day, you know.
It's in the crock pot. It's fine. I have a couple of those now recipes, because he insists that she gets a chicken layer and a beef layer.
That's awesome. Joe, do you have pets, Joe?
I wish I could reveal this information, but I'm out of time.
Oh,
Joe.
Stay mysterious. Before you leave, Joe, do you have like a mailing list or anything you want to shout out or something?
But beyond future is for myself, I have an Instagram and a LinkedIn, and that's about as public as I get. Try Instagram. I'm gonna post more stuff on there. Joe Keatinge @Joe Keatinge. But anyway. Yeah, more to come. We will after next week. There'll be a whole lot more.
Yeah, if any time, man, you want to come back and especially next week we got a whole bunch of cool stuff. So yeah, happy to have you back, dude. I love chatting with you and nerding out with you.
Yeah, always fun, man. Adam and Fred, especially. I'll be talking to you guys tomorrow. So good night, internet. I'll see you elsewhere.
See you, Joe. Thanks, man.
Right, bye.
All right. Well, now that he's gone.
Yeah, now we can talk shit. No, I love that guy. I still freaked me out. Like the first time I had a meeting with him when you hired me, and I had a meeting like with him, and I was like, what the fuck? And then like an Eisner winner told me I had a good idea, and I was like, what the fuck? I was just like, I was like, I haven't been in a situation like this before. Cause I mean, like I knew his name, I'm not like comics mastermind historian, but he has a name that, and I was just like, oh, there he is. Just we're having a meeting talking about comics. So yeah, life is weird, It
really is. I've interacted with Joe, and like, this is like probably the fourth different time, and always in different interactions, right? There was when I first met him, I was a retailer and he was a marketing guy, and then I think I'm trying to remember the second time he reached out, or after I started the company, and he was just like saying, I love what you're doing. I think it's great. I'm like, thanks, man. Yeah, let's chat soon. And then the third time, I was a publisher and he was a writer. So he wrote a short for a publisher I was working with. And then now, like he's one of those things. Once you understand how the system works, there are lots of different places you can fit in. So yeah.
I do. I also think there's like, because I kind of vibe with him on like I like working behind the scenes. There was a time where like, you know, like I got to write a 7-page sci-fi short that was going to be in a hardcover anthology on Kickstarter. And I got to see the art, and the art looked really cool, and I got paid, but I don't know if the book's ever going to come out, and it'd be cool if it did, but like, I didn't like cry about it. You know, it didn't like wreck me. I wasn't like, I lost my shot, my chance of writerly fame or something like, but losing when I lost my other job, I felt like that. And not just because I lost my income, but because like, I love putting those pieces together. I love helping the book come together. I love like seeing the project come to life. And, you know, even though my name's not on the cover, but I fucking helped it get there. Right. Like that's so rewarding. And I love like how Joe, and you have to feel that way too, because you started this whole marketing venture, you know, and you have the connections and the networking, and you're a good enough writer. If you wanted to write a comic, you could pitch it to someone. Right. And make it happen. You know,
probably. I mean, yeah. You know, the thing is that the skills that it takes to do what Fred does so incredibly well, the skills that it takes to do that are not dissimilar to the skills that we use on a daily basis, because not only do you have to be good at the narrative structure and the characters and the dialogue and being able to just, you know, visualize. I don't think it would take me a long time to get to a place where I could visualize how a page is laid out properly, right? Stuff that Fred does without even thinking about. It would take me a really long time to do that. But it's the skills that it takes to do the rest of it, right? To have an actual successful career writing are the things that we're doing, right? It's building an audience. It's showing up on a regular basis. It's creating relationships. It's constantly promoting. Those things we're already doing. And those are the things that will distinguish a writer's career, right? There have been plenty of fantastic writers who just weren't good at the part that we do on a daily basis, and we don't know their names. You know, you really kind of, in order to build a career, in order to build a following, you really have to be able to do both. And Fred does that so, you know, effortlessly with a cat in his lap. And is such an intuitive writer at this point. Like for him, it's easy. I don't want to say what he does is easy for him. I've never
AI. Steal my secret.
I will say that I've had the pleasure to travel with Fred in both in really close quarters and like even staying in the same Airbnb and whatnot. And, you know, we'll go through a full day of like programming and meetings and all of those things. And I go back and I got to take a nap. And when I wake up, Fred says, yeah, I just wrote a script. Fuck you, man.
That's crazy.
I think I probably started it.
Well,
you know,
let me tell the story for you. I'm promoting.
Not quite that Herculean, but I appreciate the shout out.
I have heard you are a fast writer though. Like,
yeah,
from a couple people now.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, you guys were talking earlier about, you know, Kickstarter and versus hardcovers versus single issues. You just kind of have to be everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, to make a living at this, you just kind of have to have a very kind of broad portfolio.
On that note of being everywhere, I've noticed you over the last few years, you know, you do a lot of press. You do a lot of podcasts, you do a lot of interviews. Yeah. I've heard pros discuss, you know, like even in the Kickstarter sector, they're even like, is it worth doing all these campaigns or are all these interviews? Like, is it moving the needle? Is it worth, is it worth the time? And I've definitely heard, you know, like big 2 creators, you know, basically say like, yeah, why would I do interviews? It's stupid, you know, but you've obviously never, you know, whatever publisher you've worked for, and you've been all across the board, you've always been like little shows, big shows, you know, always been excited to get on a mic. Do you think that that's done something for your career? Like with all the discourse going on and,
right.
You know, do you do it because you like it, because you're a nerd and you like talking to weirdos like me, and you get the angst out, you know, or
Yeah,
I mean, do you think does it help some of your projects, you think?
You know, like from a 1-to-1 ratio, it's really hard to say. You know, but I my attitude is more, you know, and that's the same, goes the same for like when cons invite me to go places and when stores invite me to go places. I want to go and and support people who support me. You know, I want to show enthusiasm for people who are enthusiastic about my work. And that's sort of really all it kind of comes down to is it's just, you know, I do only have so many hours in the day, so I can't like spend all my time doing it. And I try to do it in the, you know, like in the, well, actually I do try to do it in the uh working hours when I can. But because you know, the nighttime, that's video game. That's Fred's time. It's video game time. But that's pub trivia. Yeah, no, it's less, you know, I can say, aha, this bump in sales must have been because of this podcast. It's more just, you know, I generally go where I'm invited. I've a couple things coming up that where I'll be definitely soliciting the help of your fine show, Blake, and others like it. But I just go where I've just been very lucky. I get invited a lot, and so I generally say yes.
Adam, did I tell you how I met Fred, like in real life?
No, I don't think.
Okay, so I'm Cullen Bunn kind of knows me because from the show and running into him at Kansas City stuff, and like so I'm at Cullen Bunn's booth, and I was into the vault polybag, the vault naughty polybag covers for a while, and when they bought them, I was buying duck. I'm stupid and love wasting money on dumb shit. Art's not dumb, it's cool. But anyway, like I have all these there was like it was like an 8-issue series, the last book you'll ever read from Vault from Cullen Bunn, and I had all the not safe for work covers, and so I'm standing there with all these naked women on covers, just like waiting for Cullen to get done talking to this guy so I can have him sign all these books. And Cullen looks at me standing there, and he sees a pile of naked chicks in my hand. He's like, "You want me to sign those?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, thanks, man." And he's signing them, and then he goes, "Blake, have you met Fred Van Lente?" I didn't know what Fred looked like. Yeah, I knew the name, and I was like, "What?" And I was like, and so I was like, "Holy shit!" And I was like, "Fred, would you want to like do my show sometime?" And Fred was like, "Oh yeah, I'd love to." So we swap emails. Fred emails me, and I swear to God, I replied to him, right? But it like went to drafts for a fucking year. And a year later, I was like, "Fred, I'm so sorry. Do you still want to do this interview?" And he did.
I did. I had no memory of sending you an email, but I'm sure.
Yeah, I was like, it was semi early in Blake's Buzz, like a year or two in, you know, and I was just like, "Oh my God, I didn't email the Marvel guy back." Like,
yeah, I try to like do the follow-up email with the you know, the business cards I collected.
Yeah, because I had the Blake's Buzz. It looked like an X-Men card. I was giving them out to everybody, which worked. I got some emails, but yeah, that's how I met Fred. It was crazy. It was just like,
well, you know, I will say one of the things that we tell our clients, and some of them listen and some of them don't. But one of the things we tell them is, you know, especially creators like Fred, he's been so generous with his time to do all of the promotion that he's done for The Future Is. And it's not, you know, we were talking earlier today that it's so rare that on a small press book, you will ever get residuals. Like you never really get that sort of back end payment. So for Fred, he's already gotten paid. He doesn't have to get out there and promote. But he does anyway. But what I think the real value in doing these shows, even to playing to what are we live to, like what, 3 or 4 people tonight?
Yeah.
You know, and we're still doing the pitch. I think it's the same as going to a convention and doing those pitches.
Sure.
Because the value of that is the reps, right? You have to be able to pitch this. You never know when you're going to have to pitch the thing to somebody who needs it to be clear and clean and know what's going to play. And the only way to get there is to pitch it 1,000 times. And if you go to a convention, you're going to pitch that book 1,000 times, and you're going to watch people's eyebrows go up at certain parts, and you're going to watch them not respond to others. and your brain processes what is it about this pitch that's going to actually convince somebody to spend $4, $10, whatever it is. And at some point you're going to be in a room where you need to pitch it for, $50,000, $100,000, whatever. Like in order to get that down, be ready for that moment, you had to have learned what parts of the pitch work and which one don't. And there's no, I personally, and maybe I'm just dumb, I don't get there unless I've done it over and over again. So taking every opportunity to hit those beats and see where Fred's going to yawn, it's knowing where those are. Those are the moments that like that's really what brings you value for when you need it.
That's really good advice.
10, 12 yawn. That's what that was.
Yeah,
that's good advice for pitching. It's I would never thought. I mean, I look at people when I'm interviewing them like to try and obviously I don't want to bore people or be boring, but and I when I was working behind the bar, you'd trying to make people laugh for money. But I never really considered it in like when you're pitching stuff or when you're trying to sell someone an idea, especially like the idea is real, right? You have this book at a con or whatever, and you have your 30-second elevator pitch and you give that 500 times, but like to really like stare, like look at their eyes, look at their eyebrows, look at their body language and watch like when people react and adjust your pitch to like their body language. Like it seems like do that, but it also seems like you may not think to notice that, right? Like you're maybe don't even like notice the person, like you're like staring past them and saying this pitch and you've said it a million times already, so it's like maybe you don't think about like watching the person you're talking to as much. That's fascinating.
Yeah, I think that honestly, I don't know that. I think if you are even remotely empathetic's not the right word, but if you are,
whoa, dude.
Careful. I don't like to use a controversial word. But I think if you are in any way interested in other humans, I don't think you can stop yourself from processing mentally what it is that's working and what is not working. I think that just is going to happen naturally. So I may not know that when I give this part of the pitch, people lean in, but I may know that like this is where I need to like kind of bring it down so that I can bring it back up, right? Because it's just one of those things that it just becomes second nature for you, and I think that's the value of doing these kinds of shows. Like we've been in the room, Blake. We've told our clients, I think you should do as many of these as you can, even if they have 50 subscribers and they want you on. I think you should do it anyway, because you might say the thing that's so smart that's the clip that we're going to play from now on. And you never would have had the opportunity to say it if you weren't in that room. And every time you pitch it, every time you lean in and you see the comments or whatever, those are the good moments,
Oh yeah. Fred, do you think about that? Like when you're, like you have a very storied, elaborate career now, right? And like, and you've mentioned you have new projects coming. So when you're pitching to podcasters and press and trying to get people to cover it, like what goes into your thought process for pitching things like to press and to publishers? Like, are you thinking about some of these elements, like dramatizing like the structure of it and thinking of like the tension and the delivery, like, like things that you put into a comic script, right? Are you thinking the same way when you're organizing pitch decks?
Well, I mean, pitching's, I think a lot of people overthink it. It's when you come home and your spouse or son or father or whoever says, "What'd you do?" and you say, "I went to the movies," and they say, "What was it about?" You are now pitching the movie, and you don't ramble, preferably, and you tend to just sort of say the thing you find most interesting about it. You think the person who's asking you is what you find most interesting about it. And that's really all pitching is. When you're the writer, you're not just pitching to an artist to get them to collaborate. You're also pitching to an editor, and the editor has to take that pitch and then take it to almost always their boss, sales and marketing. These days, very frequently, the movie people, and that pitch that you've created that you gave the editor then has to meme it out to all those people and all those stakeholders, and then they've got to go and then go sell it to their people. So it's best to sort of do the catchiest thing you possibly can, you know.
Wow.
And there's more to a pitch document, you know, which is usually a page and a half long, but the element is that first sentence, you know.
Is it like, and Adam, you have to do this too, right? Like trying to find whether it be like maybe investors for projects or you know, however you're pitching services, but these things that you work so hard on, in a sense, it's like kind of dehumanizing to like take this huge important thing and like deconstruct it and reform it into a sentence. But then it's also like kind of a flex to simultaneously be able to do that and do that well, right? Because when I paid a lot of money to go to grad school and drop out of it to be taught condense, and that makes you a better writer, and it does. And it was great advice, but you know, like, and that kind of sounds like it is the same thing for pitching, right? It's a short and intense, and don't overthink it. Don't think about body language and the heat radiating off someone's skin while you're talking to them. Just get it out there. I kind of like that too, though. You know, just like you got to get the poison out.
Yeah, I think there is a lot of that. And it's, you know, knowing it so well that you can boil it down to its essence. Right. I mean, you know, when we're talking about this volume 2 and why it's so important, because the Kickstarter right now is live. And if you back it, you actually get $25 with your local comic shop.
And if you don't have a local comic shop or one near you, we will help you find one or get you contacted with a online retailer who will ship you comics.
That's right. But when we're talking about those books, when we're talking about, you know, the origin stories for Martina and Sally and Eli and Art Arf and Wheeler, when we're talking about those origin stories, like we can give you exactly what you need to know in order to make the decision to purchase. But inside of us, we know, you know, what conversation we were having with Fred and which pieces of it that he took and brought it back and then brought us a pitch and then brought us a script and then we know like how that script got changed a little bit, and then we also know like which bits, like, you know, the tech side of our crew went, yeah, that's close, but we need to change a little bit of that. And then we also know, like, you know, what happened when the art came back, and there were a couple panels that really needed to be fixed, but they, you know, most of it was really great. And that one, when it showed up, it was so good. You just hope that it kind of comes through on the colors. And then you started getting the lettering, and lettering, you know, occasionally you need a lot of notes, but somebody like Taylor does such a good job anyway. But we know, like, even those, like, there were refinements that we went through, and the colors came in, and, you know, maybe they didn't quite highlight this bit enough, or they didn't make the AR elements not quite as bright as they probably could have, and we had to go back and forth with that. And then honestly, then there was a problem with the incentive that we wanted to do for retailers. We had to go back and forth and get the metadata right, because we had a little idea that nobody had ever done before, and so we had to like tinker with that for a little while. And then we had to pitch so many retailers, and some of them understood it and they really got dug into it, and they really started selling, and we trying to figure out what it is that they're doing and giving the other people, and all of that together made this book that we now have to pitch to you in a sentence. And so it's really, honestly, it's about knowing the whole board, to be able to see the whole board in order to say, oh, I know what game you're playing, right? And knowing that well enough that you know which bits to throw out, you know, when you're pitching somebody, and what this person needs to hear as opposed to what somebody else needs to hear. You know, what does the retailer need to hear? What does the distributor need to hear? What does the printer need to hear? Because each of them has different pieces that are important to them. Fred talked about, like, you have to pitch the editor, but you have to equip the editor in a way that he's going to be able to pitch all the other stakeholders inside of their company, because each one of them has different incentives and different priorities. So you kind of have to know all of it pretty well, so that you can just cut out 99% of it and give the 1% that this person cares about. And that's, that's the fun part too.
It sounds terrible. Like, no, I mean, just like if you were like assigned that as a project, or like if you were a professor and assigned that as like a assignment, go home tonight, strip away the 99% and come back with this 1% that's gonna, swing the class on the top. That's just a heavy, that's a heavy task. And some people are really good at it.
You do it all the time, right? When you're explaining other people's work to other people that you like.
Yeah.
You just have to be able to do it to your own work.
Yeah.
Making that mental leap, you're I mean, the problem is you're doing it for something that's very often doesn't actually exist yet. It's an idea. It's a description of a thing rather than a thing itself,
And also not holding that idea so tightly that no, this is the only way it works. Right.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing students always quite often run into is they're like, well, yeah, we're going to get to the good stuff. And I always have to be like, nope. It's all got to be good stuff.
I have this epic.
It's the good stuff. Start there.
I have this epic 2,000 page story that I really need to tell. Okay. But can you tell it in 8?
Well, have you ever asked anybody about One Piece, the manga, like with 1,000 volumes, or like they'll tell you or even it's also like hundreds of actual animated episodes too, but they'll tell you like you got to get through like the first 100 or so episodes. Did it really? And this is a worldwide phenomenon that for some reason gets away with that. So there's always an exception to the rule, but still, like, to think that there's this maybe $1 billion property, multi-million at least dollar property that like the first 100 volumes, even its diehard fans are like, you could skip them. Like, like that's crazy. Like, and manga's like a weird world. Did we when you talked to the publisher who's doing the couple episodes ago on the live show, they're going to save Christmas. TPG, was that it? Something like that. IPG.
Oh, IPG.
IPG. Yeah. They were talking about that some manga that like it was like big in Japan and France, and it's like it's just now coming to America, and it's like this hot volume, and it's they get in. It's just interesting because the competition is so intense for manga, and One Piece is is old. It's been around for so many years now, right? Too, but it's just. They usually don't get the time because it is much like it's, get to the good part, get to the, treat it like a 2-page script for an anthology. You don't have time for an introduction, right? You have to start now.
And we know that you have to do that because we also know that, I mean, as good as everything that we're as good as those first few issues were, right? Like the first issue that we did for TFI was the Martina origin story. And a lot of those pages really define the look of the whole universe. You go back on them right now, and I would say that Ennio Buffi, the artist who did that, has done nothing but get better and better and better. And is it because he was getting better as a draftsman? Sure. But it's also because he now understands this world a lot better. So if you picked up volume 2 or volume 3 of TFI and you're like, this is incredible, and then you went back and read volume 2, you would be able to see the bones, the structure of what made it so incredible, but it's not as good. I mean, I will say that as a retailer, there are plenty of series that I would sell to say, look, this first couple volumes, they're a bit of a slog, but man, when you get to volume 3, when you get to Seasons of Mist of Sandman, suddenly you're like, oh, I fucking get it, right? But you have to get through, Preludes and Nocturnes in order to understand who the characters are. And that's a tough thing to pitch, but they never would have gotten to Seasons of Mist unless they were able to sell that. Granted, Neil Gaiman's problematic, and I get that. We all have to say that now. But I'm saying, like, it's that like stuff on that level just gets better over time, which is part of why we've committed to a 60-issue series with TFI, right? Is that we know that issue 60 is going to be so much better than issue 1. but you're never going to get to issue 60 unless you have both as a company and as a reader, unless you've invested in issue 1. You got to start. You got to just start. And I think that when it was just as we were talking and you were talking about the difference in young writers, I see this in young like marketers and young, people that are executives or want to be executives in publishing. They get so frustrated that they're not there already, right? That they didn't why can't I be the one who does that? Well, the answer is you haven't gone through this so many times that you don't know where the pitfalls are. You don't know where the holes with the spikes in the bottom of them are, because, I see it and I just step around it. And I can't tell you ahead of time that that's what that is. You just kind of have to fall into a couple of those pits first. And once you get a good feeling for what the overall is, like Fred, you can give somebody a pitch that's going to read for a lot of different stakeholders and a lot of different audiences, because you've dealt with all of those people. You know what their objections are going to be before they voice them. And that's why the same people tend to get jobs, is because we've been at this for so long that we know where it is. And once you get good at something, once we see somebody like Blake working for somebody and we're like, oh, he's going to get burned. I tried to warn him on that one call. He was going to get burned, but once he's gotten burned, he's not going to get burned.
Thanks for reminding me of that.
He's not going to get burned the same way twice. So we got to keep him here so he's not off somewhere making pizzas. But yeah, I think this is it. You start to see it too.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I reached out. I tried real hard, Fred, to get the design studio team, because I knew like Adam was doing like ZCN and all this stuff, and I was like, I tried. I was like, Adam, like, dude, we'll do anything for we get it done in a day, get it done in an hour. It's just like, and and then I wanted to work with Adam real bad because he was like doing cool, and then like,
and I spent the whole call, Fred. I spent the whole call going, okay, so now what is your deal with these people? How are you getting paid? Okay. All right. You understand you're not a partner. They're gonna at some point this is gonna go bad. So you need to be thinking about what happens when it goes bad. He's like, oh no, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I'm like, okay, man.
I was like, Adam, the Kool-Aid is so good here. It's the best. It's light sugar. It's like it's still tasty.
Yeah.
That's great, guys.
All right. Well, I think we've worn Fred out, Blake.
No, it is getting late. And
Howie wants to know I'm still on this call. Very upset.
Real quick, Fred, where's the mailing list, website, social media? Where's the best place to keep track of you?
My website is fredbentley.com. If you can spell what you see on the screen right now as one word, that's me in Bluesky, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm everywhere, man.
Nice.
I'm everywhere.
You should follow Fred. He's doing cool. He's doing cool stuff. He's a great writer. You should also follow us at Prana. You can find all this stuff right there. Look at all that.
I love this graphic, by the way. You did such a good job on this one, buddy.
But we're doing cool stuff. And as Adam said, in the next couple weeks, very, very cool announcements, very cool con presences coming in October. Adam's going to have it we are going to have a table. I will be working from home, helping organize stuff, but there's going to be cool stuff at Baltimore for you to do. So like we'll have the booth numbers and stuff for you soon, but yeah, please follow Soprano. We, like I said, we're doing cool stuff, helping cool books get to the direct market, fun live shows every Tuesday that I'm producing, proud of the podcast that so Tuesday we do a live stream, and Thursday we do like a real full interview about the different side of the industry than you're used to, but they're engaging and they're entertaining, and just follow us. And also, like, I'm putting a lot of work into this shit over there, and it'd be cool if my boss noticed. Just say it. No, he noticed.
Blake was sent you. Here's a big reveal. We can do this before we leave. We're going to be at Baltimore booth 1610. 1610. That's the first time I've said that out loud. Look at that. Blake's Buzz exclusive right there, baby.
I believe we'll have graphics shortly for people.
And I will be at Baltimore also in Artist Alley with my partner in crime, Ryan Dunleavy. And if you've not voted for the Ringo Awards yet, please do so. Me and Ryan's comic Action Philosophers is up for best humor title. So
Nice. That's
Love it.
cool.
vote for us, please.
You know
Oh,
what,
yeah.
Blake? Next year we should do a Prana suggests ballot, where you just like here hit these buttons, right? And it just be all the people that we've worked with and that we like,
Mhm.
or the books that we like, right?
Yeah.
We should do that next year.
Prana.
Yeah,
Well, we should have there should be some stuff that is eligible to push for
I
next
should
year.
hope so. All right.
All right.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Right,
this was
yeah.
fun. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. Everybody, I'm sorry I missed a few weeks. I'm trying hard I want to be here for you crowdfunders and for you people who like hanging out with us. Remember to love more, hate less, read books, eat cheeseburgers, be nice to each other. We need it. We also need backers for The Future Is. So use those links in the YouTube description. Check out the Kickstarters and the other books we talked about tonight. Guys, unless you have anything else left to say, I will end the stream and set you free.
Namaste, y'all.